Right now, as you're watching this video, something invisible is happening inside your body. Your metabolism, that complex engine that keeps you alive, energized, and healthy, is quietly slowing down. Not because you ate the wrong thing, not because you skipped the gym, but because of something so ordinary, so universally accepted that you probably don't even think about it. You're sitting. And here's the kicker. Even if you ran 5 miles this morning, even if you meal prepped perfectly balanced lunches for the week, even if you're doing everything else right, those hours you spend sitting are silently sabotaging everything. Scientists are now calling it the new smoking. And if you think that sounds dramatic, wait until you hear what's actually happening inside your body right now. Let me show you the metabolic time bomb that's been ticking away in plain sight.
Let's start with the reality check. The average person sits for about 9 hours a day. 9 hours. That's more time than most of us sleep. We sit while we commute, sit at our desks, sit during meals, and then come home to sit some more while we watch TV or scroll through our phones. And here's what makes this so insidious. Sitting doesn't feel dangerous. Unlike smoking, there's no burning in your lungs. Unlike drinking too much, there's no hangover. It's comfortable, it's normal, it's just sitting. But inside your body, it's a completely different story. Research shows that sedentary behavior has been linked to reduced metabolic health and increases risk factors like expanded waist circumference, higher body fat percentage, and increased abdominal fat. And this isn't about being lazy or inactive in general. Even when adults meet physical activity guidelines, sitting for prolonged periods can compromise metabolic health. Think about that for a second. You can check every box on your fitness tracker, crush your step goals, and still be doing metabolic damage if you're spending the rest of your day planted in a chair. It's like trying to bail water out of a boat while someone's drilling holes in the bottom. You might be working hard, but you're fighting a losing battle.
Okay, so what exactly happens to your metabolism when you sit? Let me paint you a picture, and fair warning, it's not pretty. Within minutes, literally minutes of sitting down, your metabolism may be affected, and your body may have more trouble breaking down fats and sugars. Your muscles, which are major players in burning calories and regulating blood sugar, essentially go into hibernation mode. Prolonged muscle inactivity reduces the activity of an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, which regulates blood lipid concentration and carbohydrate metabolism. Think of this enzyme as your body's cleanup crew for fats and sugars in your bloodstream. When you sit, you're basically sending that crew home early. But it gets worse. When you don't move enough, your metabolism and blood circulation slow down because inactive muscles have less demand. Your heart, which is, let's remember, a muscle, starts getting weaker without regular activation throughout the day. And here's the really sneaky part. A prolonged sedentary time reduces metabolic demands and systemic blood flow, and by stimulating the sympathetic nervous system, it decreases insulin sensitivity and vascular function, while increasing oxidative stress and promoting low-grade inflammatory cascade. Translation? Your body starts resisting insulin, the hormone that helps your cells use sugar for energy. Sugar builds up in your bloodstream. Your blood vessels don't work as well. Inflammation increases, and your metabolism? It downshifts into energy-saving mode like a car switching into low gear. The irony is brutal. Your body thinks it's helping you survive a famine, when really you're just binge-watching your favorite show. Now, a slow metabolism isn't just about burning fewer calories or having trouble losing weight, though that's definitely part of it. The cascade of effects touches almost every system in your body. Let's talk about metabolic syndrome. This is when you have at least 3 of these metabolic risk factors: high blood pressure, high blood sugar, elevated triglycerides, low good cholesterol, or too much belly fat. A study reported that both intermediate and high levels of sedentary behavior were significantly associated with an increased risk of metabolic syndrome, and intermediate was defined as just over 4 hours of sitting per day.
4 hours. That's half of a typical workday. People with metabolic syndrome spent a greater percentage of time as sedentary, had longer average sedentary bouts, had lower intensity during sedentary time, and had fewer sedentary breaks. And here's the kicker. This was independent of physical activity. Your evening jog doesn't erase the metabolic damage from your 8-hour desk marathon. The health risks pile up from there. Sedentary behavior is a significant risk factor for type 2 diabetes, with prolonged sitting decreasing your body's insulin sensitivity. Research shows that inactivity increases your risk of heart disease and various cardiac issues, even if you're at a healthy weight and BMI. Even your brain isn't safe. A 2025 study reported that a sedentary lifestyle in aging adults was an independent risk factor for Alzheimer's, with study participants who were more sedentary showing more cognitive decline even if they met recommended exercise guidelines. And if all that wasn't enough, an analysis of research found a connection between sedentary behavior, particularly involving TVs and computers, and depression. So sitting for too long doesn't just slow your metabolism, it's creating a perfect storm of physical and mental health problems. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I work out. I hit the gym 5 times a week. Surely that counts for something. And yes, exercise is absolutely crucial, but here's the uncomfortable truth. At 10+ hours of daily sedentary behavior, research shows increased risk for cardiovascular disease and other health issues, even if you work out at some point during the day and meet recommended physical activity guidelines. Let me say that again. Even if you exercise regularly, too much sitting can still wreck your metabolism. It's like brushing your teeth for 2 minutes in the morning, but then eating candy all day. Those 2 minutes of good behavior don't cancel out the other 23 hours and 58 minutes of destruction. The research is clear. Up to 1/3 of adults worldwide do not meet the recommended amounts of physical activity, and sedentary behavior has been linked to reduced metabolic health. But even those who do meet activity guidelines aren't immune if they're sitting the rest of the time. This is why some researchers make a distinction. Too much sitting is distinct from too little exercise. They're two separate problems that require two separate solutions. And here's something that might blow your mind. Standing involves isometric contraction of anti-gravity postural muscles and elicits changes in muscle activity, meaning that even just standing, without walking or exercising, activates your metabolism in ways that sitting doesn't. Simply standing up is metabolically different than sitting, even though you're not technically exercising.
All right, enough doom and gloom. I promised you solutions, and I'm going to deliver. The beautiful thing about this problem is that the solution is actually pretty simple. Move more and sit less. But let's get specific, because move more is about as helpful as telling someone to just be happy. First, shorter bursts of light activity, such as standing, stretching, and walking every 30 minutes or so, can be used to break up long periods of sitting. You don't need to do jumping jacks or burpees. Just stand up, walk to get water, do a quick stretch. The key is interruption. Current findings suggest that not only is it important to reduce sedentary time, but minimizing prolonged periods of uninterrupted sedentary time and increasing sporadic movements during sedentary time may also be protective. Think of it like this. Your metabolism likes variety. It wants you to change positions, activate different muscles, keep things moving. Sitting for 8 hours straight, even with a workout before or after, is metabolically different from sitting for 30 minutes, standing for 10, walking for 5, repeat. If you were to walk around for 5 minutes each hour during an 8-hour workday, you would essentially accumulate 40 minutes of movement. That's nearly an extra hour of metabolic activation without blocking out gym time. Here are some practical strategies. Use a standing desk or adjustable desk. Take phone calls standing or walking. Park farther away from your destination. Take the stairs.
Set a timer to remind you to stand every 30 minutes. Have walking meetings. Do some desk stretches or exercises. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to disrupt the pattern of prolonged sitting as often as possible throughout your day. And here's something encouraging. Many people can reverse type 2 diabetes by losing weight through exercise, healthier eating habits, or even bariatric surgery. Your metabolism isn't permanently broken. It can recover. It wants to recover. You just have to give it the conditions it needs. So here we are. The common habit that's quietly destroying your metabolism isn't some exotic toxin or mysterious dietary villain. It's just sitting. Something so mundane, so integrated into modern life that we barely even notice we're doing it. But now you know. You know what's happening inside your body when you sit for hours on end. You know that exercise alone isn't enough to counteract prolonged sitting. And you know that even small changes, standing up every 30 minutes, taking brief walking breaks, simply moving more throughout your day can make a real difference. Your metabolism is resilient, it's adaptive, and it responds remarkably well when you give it what it needs. The question is, will you? So the next time you settle in for a long sitting session, whether it's work, gaming, or binge watching, remember this. Every hour you sit is an hour your metabolism shifts into low gear. But every time you stand up and move, even for just a few minutes, you're sending a signal to your body that says, we're not hibernating, we're alive, we're active, and we're thriving. Your metabolism will thank you for it.